Life doesn't get easier, you get sharper, colder, deadlier. Or you fall with the rest. Most people don't break because life is cruel. They break because they were soft when it came. You think discipline is hard? Try regret. Try waking up one day and realizing you were never even the one steering your own life. You just reacted. To pain. To fear. To weakness. To comfort. Carl Jung said. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. And discipline is the only mirror ruthless enough to make you see it. The truth is this: you've been lied to about what will save you. You were told love will save you, that passion will save you, that someone will come along, understand your wounds, and fix them. No, what saves you is the ability to command yourself when the war inside your head starts to scream, because the war always comes. And when it does, if your mind is undisciplined, you will run from yourself like a coward running from battle. Let me make this clear. Discipline is not punishment. It's not cruelty. It is loyalty to your future self. And the absence of it? That's betrayal. You weren't born weak. But you were taught to avoid pain. You were conditioned to chase pleasure, not purpose. To look for comfort, not confrontation. To scroll, instead of stand. That ends now. Because when you lose discipline, you lose identity. You become whatever the world pushes you into. And that's why most men today feel lost. Not because they lack passion, but because they lack parameters. They don't have a code. They don't have non-negotiables. They've forgotten what it means to hold the line. Let's change that. Mental toughness. Habit 1. Command your mornings, or lose your mind. You think your day is yours when you wake up at noon, check your phone, and drown in noise. No, your day was hijacked the moment you surrendered your first hour to the world instead of yourself. Get up early. Not because it's trendy. Because you must reclaim your mind before the world invades it. Command silence. Command focus. Command discomfort. You build identity when you choose what is hard before life forces it on you. The Roman gladiators didn't rise from silk sheets. They rose from blood, sweat, and ritualized war against weakness. You want to feel like a warrior? Then wake up like one. Next. Mental toughness. Habit 2. Master one thing every single day, especially when you don't want to. The world is addicted to mediocrity because people chase motivation. But real warriors, they don't wait to feel like it. You train. You bleed. You show up, even when you're tired, even when your heart is heavy, even when your soul says, "Not today." That's when the new mind is forged. Because here's what no one tells you: discipline doesn't kill your freedom. It creates it. You are not free if your feelings dictate your actions. You are not free if you run every time you feel resistance. You are not free if your mind is built on moods instead of a mission. Freedom is earned, and it is earned by doing what must be done even when it burns your throat to do it. Look, you already know what's weakening you. That one habit. That one excuse. That one thing you keep telling yourself you'll fix when life calms down. But here's the forbidden truth. Life never calms down for those who don't rise up. Life gets louder, harsher, colder. And if you haven't built discipline now, you won't have it when the avalanche comes. You'll beg for strength when it's too late to build it. This is the moment. Right now. You're either going to war with your weakness, or you're handing it your sword. And don't think for 1 second that hiding from discipline makes you safe. No. It makes you forgettable. Because in a world that's loud, chaotic, and fake, the man who can command himself becomes unforgettable. People will feel it in your silence. They'll sense it in your walk. And when they try to manipulate you, they'll break their teeth on your backbone. Because discipline doesn't just sharpen your body. It sharpens your presence. It makes your words cut like steel. It makes your decisions carry weight. It makes your boundaries feel like a fortress no one dares to test. This is what they never told you. Your mind isn't just a tool. It's a weapon. And if you don't forge it with discipline, someone else will wield it against you. You were not born to be ordinary. You were born to be forged. But only those who choose the fire become the blade. And the fire is now. So ask yourself, are you going to let this moment pass again? Or will this be the day your weakness meets its executioner? Because once you taste what it feels like to command yourself, to master your days, to do what others avoid, you'll never crave the old life again. You'll never fear discipline again. You'll chase it. Because in a soft world, a disciplined man is dangerous. You will face storms. Some will come from the world. Most will come from within. But when you build discipline, you don't fear the storm, you become it. The weak want peace. The strong prepare for war. Because they know, the only peace worth having is the one you win by being unshakable. Now listen closely, because this is the part most people run from. This is where the transformation begins to hurt. Mental toughness habit 3. Do something every day that humbles your ego. That's right. You want to grow stronger? Then kill your arrogance. Starve your excuses. And start putting yourself in the arena of discomfort. Your ego doesn't want you to look weak. That's exactly why you need to do what makes you look like a beginner. Lift heavier. Speak when your voice shakes. Walk into that room you think you don't belong in. Because growth isn't polite. It's violent. It demolishes the image you cling to and replaces it with the man you were meant to be. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." What does that mean? It means your patterns, your fear of failure, your addiction to comfort, they're not random. They are unconscious chains. Chains that only break when you step deliberately into resistance. You must confront what you avoid. You must do the things that embarrass your weakness. You must train your mind to submit to your mission, not your moods. Because discipline isn't just about routine. It's about reprogramming your identity. Let me give you an example. Leonidas, the king of Sparta. He didn't become immortal in history because he was the strongest. He became immortal because he trained men who feared nothing more than dishonor. In Sparta, you were trained to embrace pain. Endure hunger. Withstand loss without losing yourself. And the reason we talk about Leonidas over 2,000 years later is not because of how he died, but because of how he lived. He built warriors. And warriors weren't built in comfort. They were built in ritualized war against self-indulgence. Now here's what that means for you. If you want to be respected, by others, by life, by yourself, then you must become a man who does what is necessary, not what is convenient. Mental toughness habit 4. Set sacred rules, and follow them like your life depends on it. Because it does. These are not routines. These are not goals. These are laws. Laws that you decide. I do not sleep past 6 a.m. I do not consume what weakens my clarity. I train every single day, no matter what hell I'm walking through. I do not explain my standards. These aren't rules to impress others. They're rules to remind your subconscious who's in charge. You want to know why people feel anxious and lost? It's not because they're broken. It's because they have no code. They wake up with no target. They chase what feels good in the moment. And then they wonder why they feel hollow. You're not hollow. You're starving for structure. You don't need another dopamine hit. You need a discipline so fierce that your inner chaos doesn't stand a chance. And here's a brutal truth. You cannot master your life until you master your impulses. Every time you delay what you must do, because you don't feel like it, you are whispering to your mind, "I am not the authority here." And your mind will believe you. It will make your life small. It will train your focus to serve fear, not your future. But the moment you act in defiance of comfort, that's when the shift begins. That's when the inner beast starts to wake up. You've been living under your potential because you've been negotiating with weakness. No more. Because what happens when you stop negotiating? You become dangerous. Not to hurt others, but to protect your own destiny. Discipline is not about being robotic. It's about becoming undeniable. Undeniable in your presence. Undeniable in your purpose. Undeniable in your standard. You walk into a room, and people feel you, not because you're loud, but because your energy is a storm wrapped in stillness. You didn't come here to be liked. You came here to be feared by your limitations. You didn't come here to impress the world. You came here to conquer the parts of yourself that the world tried to poison. And that begins every time you say, "I don't care how I feel. I care who I'm becoming." Let that be your new LAW.no feelings.no waiting.no mercy for weakness. Only the mission. Only the code. Only the fire. You are not here to survive. You are here to dominate your space.to own your mind.to walk through fire and not flinch. Because when the storms come, and they will, you will not need motivation. You will not need hope. you will have discipline, and discipline is unshakable. There is a moment in every warrior's life where he has to choose between the comfort of the known and the chaos that forges legends. That moment is not loud. It doesn't come with trumpets or applause. It comes silently, when no one's watching, when you feel tired, unseen, and broken. That's where your future is decided, not in public, not on stage, but in the invisible hell of your own mind. And the man who walks through that fire, without a witness, without a reward, that man becomes something the world cannot understand and cannot destroy. Discipline isn't about achieving more. It's about becoming more. Mental toughness habit 5. Choose your pain, or be enslaved by it. Pain is coming either way, but one kind of pain transforms you. The other kind changes you to a version of yourself you hate. The pain of discipline is precise, clean, powerful. It teaches. It molds. It cuts away the unnecessary. The pain of regret? That's slow death. You'll carry it for years. In your posture. In your eyes. In your words. And it always whispers, "You could have been more if you hadn't hidden from the mirror." Carl Jung warned us. People will do anything to not confront their own soul. But let me say what he didn't. The soul doesn't pity cowards. It punishes them with mediocrity, with resentment, with a life that always feels just 1 inch away from meaning. You must choose pain that purifies, not pain that petrifies. Get up earlier. Train harder. Say no more often. Do what is right when no one's clapping. That's how you take the leash off your soul. That's how you command your own evolution. Now, here's a forbidden truth. You don't need more motivation. You need ritual. Discipline isn't about how you feel. It's about what you've engraved into your identity. Mental toughness habit 6. Ritualize your standards until they become your instincts. What does that mean? It means your actions are no longer up for debate. It means when the alarm goes off, you rise. When the weights wait, you lift. When the journal opens, you reflect. Not because you're in the mood, but because it's who you are now. When a samurai sharpened his blade, it wasn't because he felt like killing. It was because the ritual kept his mind sharp even in peace. He was ready before the threat arrived. But today, people wait for chaos before they build strength. They wait to be hurt before they set boundaries. They wait to be abandoned before they start healing. Discipline is not about reacting. It's about preparing for the invisible war before it starts. If your life still feels chaotic, it's because your rituals are weak. Your morning isn't yours. Your nights are scattered. You're still negotiating with excuses that should have been buried months ago. It's time to cleanse. Remove what softens you. Cut what drains you. Burn the bridges to your old identity. You don't need more tools. You need more standards. And here's the most ruthless truth of all. Discipline is lonely. Not because people hate you, but because they no longer recognize you. You stop chasing validation. You stop explaining your silence. You stop performing for approval. And when you stop being soft, you make the people around you confront their own weakness. And they won't like it. But that's not your burden. Your mission isn't to be understood. Your mission is to become undeniable. Understand this. The moment you build discipline, the world loses control over you. The media loses its grip. The opinions of others lose weight. Your old addictions lose their taste. Because your identity is no longer built on chaos. It's built on command. You are the builder now. The architect. The hammer. The flame. Discipline gives you what nothing else can: unbreakable trust in yourself. You stop hoping you'll show up. You know you will. You stop waiting for the right mood. You become the force that moves things forward. You walk differently. You breathe deeper. You look people in the eyes and they feel it. This man is not pretending. Because you've faced what most people hide from. You've built in silence what most only dream of in fantasy. You've done the reps in the dark. You've bled without applause. You've kept your word to yourself so many times that even your shadow obeys you now. You've crossed the threshold. The man you used to be, he would have quit. He would have made an excuse. He would have looked for comfort. But he's gone now. And in his place stands someone who's learned. You don't wait for the path. You carve it. With blood. With sweat. With the savage repetition of actions no one sees. You've become the type of man the world cannot control, because you control yourself. And That is what discipline really is. There will come a day when your body aches, your energy fades, the voices of doubt scream louder than your will, and the world offers you every excuse to fold. But if you build discipline, you won't. Because you will have something stronger than motivation, something stronger than hype. You'll have command. Discipline is the invisible armor that doesn't shine, but it never cracks. It's not about how loud you roar. It's about how silent you stay while the fire burns inside you, and you keep walking forward anyway. Now listen closely, because this is your final weapon. Mental toughness habit 7. Learn to love the silence between your victories. This is where most people break, when they've done the work. But no one claps. No reward. No recognition. No instant dopamine. Just you, and the silence. And the question, was it worth it? That silence is your test. And it is sacred. Because that's where the false ones disappear, and the real ones are born. If you can learn to walk forward with no applause, no validation, no guarantee, if you can still show up like it's life or death, even when it feels like nothing's happening, then you've crossed into a new realm of self-mastery. The realm Carl Jung pointed to when he said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." The undisciplined man waits to be awakened by others. The disciplined man awakens himself. Every single day. No shortcut. No savior. Just a warrior, and his will. Look at your life now. Everything you avoid, it owns you. Everything you fear, it governs you. But everything you confront, with daily discipline, you master. And when you master yourself, no enemy, no insult, no setback can break you. Because you've already gone to war within, and you came back, forged. Understand this. Discipline is not about becoming better than others. It's about becoming so deeply in tune with yourself that nothing outside you decides who you are. It's not about being perfect. It's about being unmovable. You train not because you need to look strong. You train because you're preparing your mind for storms no one else can see. You fast not to punish your body, but to sharpen your focus. You speak less not because you're weak, but because your silence holds weight. You don't react. You respond. With intention, with clarity, with power. And the world will wonder, how is he so calm while everything falls apart? Because you've already been through the collapse, and you built your fortress in its ruins. This is what they'll never understand. Discipline is a rebellion against a world that wants you weak. It is a silent war you wage every day, against distraction, against comfort, against the lazy, addicted, self-sabotaging version of you. And every time you win that war, you gain territory in your soul. You expand. You evolve. You become something unshakable. This is the edge. Right here. Not talent, not genetics, not intelligence. It's discipline. The man who commands himself will always defeat the man who waits to be inspired. Always. And the man who builds discipline when no one's watching will become the man everyone watches when things fall apart. Because when the pressure rises, and the weak search for escape, you will stand still, not because it's easy, but because you were forged for this. So if you've heard anything in this message, let it be this: discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It's how you prove to yourself that you're not owned by impulse, that you are not the slave of your emotions, that you are capable of becoming someone the old you would never even recognize. Start now, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Now. Wake up before the sun and reclaim your time. Build your rituals like sacred fire. Set rules. Live them. Train like your soul is on the line, because it is. Cut off what weakens you, without apology. Love the pain, love the silence, love the process. Because everything you want, the clarity, the respect, the presence, the power. It lives on the other side of daily discipline. And once you taste that power, you'll never avoid discipline again. You'll chase it. Because now you know, your mind is your greatest fortress. Build it unbreakable. If this woke something inside you, comment, "I'm building my fortress." Like, subscribe, and never look back. You were not born soft. You were born to command yourself. To walk through fire, and never burn. Mind fortress. Out.